What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Gaming with the Bros Cast, episode 161, right? Yeah, 161. My name is Harrison. I am joined by my brother Nick. As always, Nick, how are you doing, buddy?
Doing good, man. It's been a busy week so far, but
yeah,
happy to be here on this wonderful Tuesday night.
Yeah,
The weather's been great the past few days. So
it has been. Yeah, it's going to get cold again next week, but at least it's been somewhat nice. I'm so ready for it, man. I'm so ready for the warm weather.
I'm so freaking hyped for daylight savings time.
Oh yeah,
the big switchover next Sunday.
Yeah, the big pointless switchover of America. Gotta love it.
I don't know why, because like that bill, like it came through. I think it went through the Senate last year.
Yeah.
And then it got stopped in the House.
Like, I have this discussion. I have this discussion every spring and every fall with my wife about this and how pointless it is. Like I get it that time is a thing, but
whatever.
But like the whole switch, there's no point in switching the clocks back. It just causes too much. It's just too annoying. It's just stupid, I think.
Oh yeah, it's super dumb.
Like,
at least let the
time is just a construct invented by man to keep us. No, I don't know.
But it's like it really is. It's made up. We happen to time everything with the way that the moon moves and the way that the Earth moves, and
yeah, it's like I get time and I get the concept, but like literally we don't need to switch the clocks back. That's something that we physically do. Who cares?
No, it just ruins it ruins the week.
Yeah, it does.
It ruins the week.
And it happens on I think it usually falls like on a Saturday, so like it's never really a big deal, but still it's
throw you off, though.
It can. Now if you've ever been to a bar and they honor it, if it goes to 2:00 and it jumps back to 1, then you get a free hour of getting absolutely obliterated.
That's the only time it's fun.
It's fun until the next day and you're like, damn it, I should have just left.
I'm now 1 hour more hungover.
Yeah, exactly. Well, speaking of being hungover, I had my birthday this week.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah, thanks. And we had gone out. We went out Saturday. We tried to go bowling at first, and it's like I haven't been to this bowling alley in a long time, and they really revamped it. So they have like an arcade, and most bowling alleys have arcades and stuff now, but this one was like super nice. Had a couple bars there, but they were so waitlisted, and we should have planned ahead and got our pre-order in or whatever, reservation in.
The pre-order.
Yeah, but we didn't, and they were so backed up that they weren't even put us on a wait list anymore. So they said it's going to be at least 2 to 3 hours, and I said, well, it's like 7:30. I'm not going to be here until like 10. I want to be downtown at a bar versus here. So we hung out for a little bit. We signed up for like their benefits reward program, whatever, and they gave us like a 10. They gave each of us like a $10 like voucher for their arcade. So we did that.
Oh, nice.
For about an hour. We went to the bar and had a couple drinks, and then checked again on the wait list, and they said it was still gonna be like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So we're like, all right, well, we're out of here. So we went downtown. We met up at this one like Irish bar, which was super cool, and we had some drinks there. We ate. We did like some appetizers there. I always have a really bad habit of when I go downtown somewhere, I never eat. And Brittany always gets mad at me, and my buddy Antoine gets mad. They're like, and I'm like, I'm not the one. Like, y'all can order food. Like, it doesn't have to be on me. But we ended up getting like some like really awesome tater tots. Like a good tater tot is just fire.
Like a crispy.
Yeah, just like perfectly crisp. And it came with like a honey mustard, but it was like a spicy honey mustard, so it was like sweet and spicy. It was really good. And then we got some pretzels too. Just like a standard, like, I don't know, like big pretzel, whatever. And split that, and that was good.
Was the tots covered in anything, or was it just like a freaking like crispy tot?
It was just some super crispy tots with like sprinkled with like parsley, I think. Just a little garnish. It doesn't really do anything. Yeah. It just elevates the dish.
It's an aromatic.
Yeah. You're like, they place it in front of you. You're just like, oh my god, this is amazing. So we did that, and then we we met up with Eric and our buddy
nice.
Nathan. They were in town for like a show, and met up with us after. And then one of our buddies, his license was expired, so he couldn't get into another bar. So we had to go back to the original bar, and we ended up, and that was a really cool bar, anyways. But we ended up walking like 4 miles that night. So, and that's the only thing big problem with downtown is like it's just so much walking. And
is it pretty spread out?
It's not too bad. It's like it feels. I mean, I don't know, when you're drunk and walking around, it probably feels longer than it is. But yeah. I mean, we were just walking all up and down the strip.
I'm sorry, you've only been walking for 2 minutes.
It feels like hours. But yeah, it was a really good time. I got my photo on the wall at that bar because they gave me the nastiest shot in the world. I can't remember what it was called, but my buddy Nathan got it. I guess it's like a thing. They have like just a really nasty like brand of, I think it was vodka, but I'm not quite sure what it was called. But it was horrible. And yeah, and then we came back. I had the most expensive.
You cut out. Sorry.
Yeah, I muted my thing for coughing. Can you hear me? No.
Maybe it's.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. So we did that, and then we had the most expensive Uber I've ever had. It was like a $70 Uber. It was insane. I've never seen one that expensive before, but I mean it was after 2, so I mean I understand. But
and you weren't going that far, right? Probably like 20 minutes.
20 minutes, yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Have you ever had one that expensive before?
Yeah, but that was in Arlington.
Okay.
And I think we were going pretty far.
Okay. Yeah, because it was kind of crazy because like we took an Uber from my house to the bowling alley, and the bowling alley was only 10 minutes away. So it was only $13, but I had tried to get it like at $7.29, and then it was like I went to order it and it refreshed and it said some sort of error. Then 7:30 rolled around and then it increased to like $20-something. So I think there's a time.
Like that.
Yeah, I think once a certain time hits. So if you're ever going to go out, like try to go out before 7:30 because I think it ups in value. But you know, all said and done, I much rather be safe than drive with someone that's drunk or drive and hurt myself or somebody else or get a DUI. So it's worth it. But I was just like, man, $70. But
I mean, I guess it was right at 2, right?
It was well after 2. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I feel like that, like from 7:30 to 2 is when it's just gonna be expensive.
Yeah.
And it only increases, going later in the night.
Yeah, but it is what it is. It was a great time. Then we got up the next day and went over to my parents' house and had some burgers and stuff like that. So it was good.
Nice.
And then I woke up Monday morning not feeling super great, but okay. And then I woke up this morning with a pretty bad cough and sore throat, and I had stood up and had like that weird kind of dizziness thing.
The head rush.
Yeah, the head rush. So I got up and took Kellen to school, and then I told my wife, I was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna just call out today and let them know. And then I slept from like 8 to 2, so with like no interruption. So I just needed it.
That's
so
great.
Yeah, so I'm feeling better. Still feeling a little down, but yeah, got some games to talk about. But Nick, how was your week?
It was good. What did we do this weekend?
Cut some grass.
We did like a lot of cut some grass. Did like a lot of yard stuff. We planted some plants. Spent about like 2 hours getting up weeds in our yard, which they came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And we hadn't pulled weeds yet, so like obviously there was going to be a little bit, but yeah, it came out of nowhere. But that was like our entire Saturday, was just doing stuff outside. And then went to the skate park on Sunday. Had a nice day. Wonderful weather.
Mm-hmm.
It's really good. Yeah, not too much going on. Just
sweet.
Still chill week.
Yeah.
Chill week. Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah, this weekend for us is going to be pretty chill because I don't know. I'm good for like going out like every 3 months or so. After that, I'm just fine. Like a long night out. Like I can go to a bar and hang out and have a couple beers and go home. But if it's going to be like a long night out, I'm good for like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did book a trip. Me and my wife are going to Vietnam.
Oh.
We're going late May. Or kind of like mid to late May.
Yeah.
May 17th is when we're leaving. So like 5 days after Zelda. You know, great. It's gonna be a great playing game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So you're gonna miss the Palooza.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss the Palooza. I didn't know until today that they were doing it on the 20th.
Yeah, they just told us over the weekend.
Yeah.
But
so I'm gonna miss that. But we'll get one really good podcast in talking about Zelda.
Yeah.
Before I'm out.
Yeah.
And then if you decide to do the podcast the next week, I'll type up some thoughts, some notes, whatever, and I'll send it over.
Okay.
Maybe some voice memos too.
Yeah, we'll see. We may. I mean, depending on what the news is like and stuff like that, I may skip it and then just give us like 2 weeks of just nothing but Zelda, and then we'll just come back swinging. So we'll see. We'll play it by ear depending on what's going on. But yeah, so I didn't get like a ton of game time this week. My wife got promoted to a new job, new position, and she's having to work some nights. So I've been kind of in charge of dinner and stuff like that, and just making sure that the house is tidy when she gets home. And so I've done like so much laundry and stuff like that. So usually when I sit down and game, it's well after like 9:30, 10 o'clock, and then she gets home around like 11. So yeah, not a ton of time, which is unfortunate because I have so much to play right now. Like it's almost anxiety inducing how much stuff I need to finish and play. But
there's no rush.
There is a rush, Nick. Resident Evil 4 is coming out in two weeks. So
is it 2 weeks? 2 weeks from Friday coming out.
Yeah, 2 weeks and 3 days, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So
that's going to be all encompassing. Like that's I'm in it. I'm in it.
I'm ready, man. We'll get into the news here in a little bit, but we'll probably get the demo, the Resident Evil 4 demo. Maybe they'll shadow drop it. Yeah. But we'll see.
But before we get into games, Harrison,
yeah,
have you seen the latest episode of The Last of Us?
I did watch it Sunday night. Okay, I was exhausted Sunday night, but we ended up watching it. Man, it's they did it again. It's another fantastic episode. It's yeah, I don't know what to say, man. It's just hard to critique. It's hard to critique these episodes at all because they just keep getting better and better. And even the lows of the show are still fantastic. So, but yeah, this was one of my. I mean, this I think this is like the big episode everyone was waiting, to meet that David's encampment, and they're psychos and creepy and scary, and let's talk about it. What were your thoughts on it?
I mean, this is like. This episode was almost straight out of the game, essentially, and like this is one that I was looking forward to. I was like telling my wife, like, oh, like this is like kind of like the cannibal episode.
Yeah,
and she's freaking out, and I don't know. It's just they did a really good job, and watching all like the side by sides of the game and the show, I'm like, man, like they really executed on this episode really well. Yeah, and I think the only thing that it might have been missing was a little bit of infected. That, I think,
unless episode 9, the next week's the finale, changes things, that's the only critique I have on the show at all. Really, is there's not a lot of infected, and I get they want to drive home the fact that the humans are the real monsters in this world, but at least in if we're compared to something like The Walking Dead, it's kind of the same thing. Like the humans are like the baddies of the show, but there's always that looming threat of the zombies, and they're almost in every single episode, and for better or for worse, right? But in this one, I mean, we've only had 3 episodes with infected in it, like more than one infected.
Only 3.
I mean, only 3 episodes, right? With more than one, we had episode 1, 2.
not 3, not 4.
And then 5, that was a big
5
one.
had a bunch.
That one had a ton. And then
6 didn't have any.
6 didn't have any. And then
7
7 would 1. So
yeah, only 3 that had more than 1.
yeah, which is crazy. But so, you know, and it's been fun. Like I've really enjoyed what they've done with it. But yeah, I really wish they would put more infected on the screen at once. But
Yeah.
But I mean, if that's the only thing I'm complaining about, I mean, this show is pretty damn good. So, but yeah, I mean, let's just talk about the characters and stuff. I mean, the guy, I can't remember who played him, but the guy that played David,
Yeah.
was menacing. He was creepy, and when he met up with Ellie and they're having that conversation, you know, in that little abandoned house or whatever, I believed that and Ellie believed that he wasn't going to hurt her. Like he meant that.
No bad intentions.
But then, you know, he drops the little, well, I sent 4 men and 3 came back,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh gosh, and which we already knew. I mean, if you played the game, but
that twist,
yeah,
like that
little twist
turn was so well done. And then
Yeah.
you kind of see Ellie, she's like, oh crap, like I'm kind of screwed here.
yeah,
And then that's when David kind of unfolds, and you see, you know, you peek behind the curtain a little bit, and you learn more about him, and he's like a very abusive person, very manipulative.
yeah,
Kind of sees himself as a god a little bit,
yeah,
and that kind of like permeates through the rest of the episode. And,
yeah,
oh man, such a good villain
yeah.
of that episode.
And it kind of drives the point home with like obsession. Like he was immediately obsessed with her, and I guess saw himself in her, and that's why he didn't want to kill her. While, you know, James, is it James?
Yeah, I think it was James.
Troy's character,
name?
James,
Yeah.
his like right hand man. They all just wanted to take her out because they didn't want any more mouths to feed. You know, only a select few of them knew that they were eating their own people, which is creepy because you know, when they put that stuff in front of them at the very, like, towards the beginning of the episode, and they were like, what is this? And he's like, it's venison. And I was like, that looks really like extra bloody for venison. That looks
super not like this.
and it looks uncooked too. It was super gross.
Well, it was uncooked.
Was it uncooked?
Yeah, it was supposed to be uncooked because they were cooking it in the pot.
They're cooking in the pot. That's right. But even like whenever, but I think like David's plate because he was eating he was eating the most. He had like the biggest portion, and it looked uncooked. It looked disgusting.
So Alicia brought this up. She thought he was eating like a completely different meal, or
I think his plate was just what
Just big.
they handed to him. And I don't think any soup was in there at all. I think it was just straight,
just the meat.
just the meat, which is terrifying. But yeah, just to go back to the obsession thing. He was obsessed with her. What's the villain from episode 5, 4 and 5 that was obsessed with Henry? Like that's an obsession in this world. Like gets people killed and gets their other people killed too. So
Yep, that's exactly what happens.
yeah.
And then can we talk about Joel for a second?
Dude,
Just
Joel's a scary
him-
man. He is
him
terrifying.
springing back to life and essentially like killing these people and then holding on to them for support
Yeah.
while they're going down to prevent him from falling too, because he's like just recovering from his infection.
I saw some jokes about him getting like that slurp juice or got the the adrenaline pack or whatever from like Call of Duty or something.
He got that adrenaline pack.
Yeah, that dude, 57, 58 years old, he is a crazy dude. I mean, that whole interrogation scene, which it was straight out of the game, but just
Still hits.
when he was like yelling like, "Oh my god, man." I was like, "Oh god, I don't ever want to be on Joel's bad side."
And then the line of like, "Don't worry, I believe him," when he's like, "I'm not gonna tell you shit."
Yeah.
Don't worry, nah.
He's like, I believe
the
him.
other guy.
I believe the other guy. Yeah. He's like, I'm gonna pop your knee. Oh man. So
Yeah, and then probably like the biggest change, aside from there not really being any infected in this episode, was the end where Ellie pretty much kills David and just goes off on him, and
Yeah.
then she exits and finds Joel. Whereas in the game,
Joel grabs
comes into
her.
the burning house, and
Yeah.
grabs her. I thought this version was better because
did.
it kind of gave like a little bit of catharsis to the entire situation.
Yeah, and it showed that Ellie, like, she can do just fine on her own if she needs to.
Yeah.
Like, I think the whole episode, like, after Joel awakens, you're like, okay, Joel's gonna come in, he's gonna save Ellie at the last second, blah blah blah. But yeah, the whole time you're thinking, you know, Joel's gonna save Ellie and save her at the last second, but that's not the case, and she's freaking spry, man. Like, she breaks his finger, and they're so dumb. Like, why didn't they just shoot her instead of, like, I don't know. I guess
that's his obsession. That's his obsession.
Yeah, I guess that's that egotistical stuff coming out of him. But yeah, when she grabbed it and chopped James in the throat, I was like, oh my god,
brutal,
super brutal. But yeah, and I thought they did that scene pretty well because, I mean, like, even playing the game, like, it was a kind of a silly scene, like her going around the furniture like a million times and then stabbing him once or twice and then backing off. Like, it was kind of silly, and she really only does that one time in this. So yeah,
it kind of did feel like a game though.
It did, yeah.
It's
it did.
Oh, like, yeah, that's the game right there. You'd be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, it keeps eliciting that feeling in a really cool way.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, like, this is like straight out of the game. It's like episode 2 when they first faced the clicker.
Yeah.
Like, that was like Joel, like, standing behind the wall was straight out of the game. Like, this feels straight out of the game. Like, it's paying homage to every facet of the game, but it's also like building upon it, giving additional backstory.
Yeah.
It's great, man. So good.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of wish that they would have at least, because I think that was like a big moment in the game where, because it is David in the game that you meet up at that little shack, right? Is that David or is that somebody else?
When you're playing as Ellie?
Yeah, in the game. Yeah, in the game.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's David, because you guys like fight off infected together.
Yeah, I think I think it would have been a little bit more if infected did come, and that way, you know, they create like that minor bond where they saved each other, and then he's like, oh, actually, you know, you killed my, like, maybe have the fire pit scene after that. But again, that's like still the only critique I've had of the game or the show so far. Is just not a lot of infected.
Yeah, and I think, or at least I want to think that episode 9 is going to have a good amount of infected, at least before they get to the hospital.
Yeah.
But with that being said, the episode's only 45 minutes.
Yeah, weird. I thought it was gonna be
a lot to get done.
Yeah.
In that amount of time.
I don't know. Maybe we'll have like another time skip or something. Who knows?
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to next week. It's going to be. I'm ready to see, again, spoiler free for those who haven't played the game. I'm ready to see Joel go off.
Yeah.
Because yeah.
If you thought he went off in episode 8,
he's going to go ham.
He's going ham.
He's going ham.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah, I can't wait. All right, Nick, any last thoughts on episode 8?
Easily one of my favorites.
Yeah, I feel like we say that every week, but yeah,
that's a testament to a good show. Right?
Yeah, easily, yeah, one of my favorites too, for sure. Just
once it's all said and done, we'll need to go back and do a
ranking.
Maybe not a tier list, but like a ranking of all the episodes.
Yeah,
something like that.
Oh, and then just to top it off, whenever Joel does get into the camp, and he goes to the little homes and stuff, and you see the 3 bodies, you know, hanging there. You're like, oh no, this is going on for a while. This is not just a one-time deal that they ate this guy. Like,
yeah,
David's been doing it for a while.
Yeah, like that's what they made you believe, right? It's like, oh, like they just had to do it.
Yeah,
because they had to do it. But no, David's he's a freak.
Yeah, he's crazy. Oh, yeah, good episode. David is a menacing villain. Mm-hmm. All right, let's move on to what we've been playing, Nick.
All right. I can start it off.
Yeah, go ahead.
Freaking Hi-Fi Rush.
Nice.
I finished it up last night. I popped in my headphones. I was just really vibing with the music. I was in the groove. Played through the last 3 chapters, and man, that game ends on such a cool note. Like the last 2 or 3 chapters are just really good, and I don't know, it feels like it's one of those games by the end of it you feel like you're playing with a group of friends.
Yeah.
And it's just such a cool feeling. I highly recommend this game to anyone, even if you're not like a rhythm game type person. It's really not that to an extent. I would just say it's an action game that rewards you for playing on beat.
Yeah.
And it's really easy to play on beat because the game provides a lot of tools to be able to do that.
Yeah, and you could turn on like the I guess it's an accessibility feature. I'm not quite sure, but like on the bottom of the screen, it'll have the beat going on the entire time.
Kind of like a metronome.
Yeah, exactly. And then like the whole the world itself, like everything's going off on the same beat too. Like it's a beautiful game. Like I do need to go back and finish it. Because yeah, it's incredible. I really enjoy it from what I played.
Yeah, it doesn't overstay its welcome. It's only about 10 hours long. I thought it was fantastic. Definitely one of my favorite games I've played this year. Granted, haven't played a ton.
Yeah.
But
hey, for it to be a shadow drop and come out of left field, like crazy, and it's on Game Pass too. So
of all we are like two for two with shadow drops this year.
Yeah,
we've gotten a shadow drop January. We've got one in February. What's coming in March? I don't even know.
maybe the Resident Evil demo. Maybe that'll be it.
Yeah, maybe that'll be the shadow drop. Even though we knew about it, I don't know.
Yeah.
Metroid Prime 2, shadow drops in March.
I mean, we didn't put it on the news, but we'll talk about like Metroid Fusion's coming out in 2 days. Like there's a lot happening on the 9th. There's so many like stuff coming out.
Harrison, are you playing Fusion?
I'm playing through it, man. I was watching the trailer for it and I was like, dude, this looks incredible. I think I like 2D Metroid better than I like first person Metroid. Not saying I don't.
Talk to me.
Not saying I dislike Prime or anything, but
do you want to talk about the Phazon mines?
So I can talk about it. So yeah, I'm well past that point now, but I got to the Phazon mines and it's probably the most difficult part of that game. Not necessarily because it's necessarily hard. There's just not. There's no save points. There's no checkpoints. And it's kind of crummy because there's like a boss like halfway towards halfway in the middle until you get the super bomb or the
super bomb.
And then right before you get the super bomb, there's like an invisible kind of mini boss fight, and then there's a save point. So it's like it's a little much for the time, and it's one of those games where if you go back and I don't know, if you get more health upgrades, you can maybe make it a little bit easier. But I had like 5 or 6 health upgrades at this point, so that was pretty good. But the space pirates are definitely some of the harder enemies in the game. Oh, yeah. They're pretty hard to dodge. I feel like they have auto targeting, like yourself, for a lot of the parts, and there's a lot of like automated turrets too that are shooting at you in spots. So it's a really difficult point. Again, no checkpoints, and there should have been a save point maybe right after that boss. I feel like. Because it would feel really shitty to get towards the end and then die and have to do the entire thing over. It got pretty annoying, but I made it through, and I've really been enjoying it. I feel like I got less lost than I did in Dread. Like in Dread, I only had to look it up a couple of times, and here now, I feel like I've got like a guide right beside me at all times just in case and maybe because I know it's towards the end and I'm ready to just get it finished, but I've got a guide open usually at all times to help me figure out where I need to go. And I said I liked the map last week. I think I less like it now. Again, just comparing it to like Dread, I think that map's a little bit easier to navigate versus this one. Not that it's necessarily hard, but I wish, I don't know, I wish when you go back into like the overworld, like they have like the little hexagonal shapes of and where the map is. I wish you could. I know it'd be kind of maybe hard to render on screen, but I wish you got like a overall view of it.
Right.
Or maybe when you're in the overview map, they could show you, okay, at this hexagonal point, this leads to this. Like I feel like they do that in Dread, right? Like they have like it shows you what leads to what. I don't know, a little gray.
Yeah, it does.
But and I'm specifically talking about like in the over. I know when you get into like the map itself of that certain area, it'll tell you, okay, this elevator leads to this part. But I wish as an overview you could see that as well, and it would like have like a line pointing to that, that specific area, just to make it a little bit easier to navigate. But again, small gripe, and when comparing it to something like Dread. But
you want to switch over real quick?
Oh yeah, let's switch over. All right, but yeah, I'm loving it so far. I think I've just got all of like the main upgrades you need, and then I guess I'm gonna go backtrack and get all the rest of the artifacts. So I think I've got half of those already. So
yeah, that part doesn't take too long.
Yeah,
and like by the end of it, you know the map pretty well.
Yeah,
so you know where to go for each artifact, and like I know you're using a guide, but if you weren't using a guide and you were just looking at the descriptions of the artifacts in your menu, like that does a pretty good job of sending you in the right direction.
Gotcha.
Like I was able to figure that out without using a guide.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think I've gotten 6 so far, so I'm already halfway done with those. But yeah, I'm still loving it. It's still such an incredible game. Again, I've played all on handheld, which is not what I thought I would do, but it's still it runs and plays just as well in the hands versus on the TV. So, yeah, I would highly recommend it to anybody that hasn't played it yet or is thinking about it. I know they've been restocking them on Amazon now and stuff like that. So yeah. I think it's pretty easy to come by nowadays.
So you'd say you still like 2D Metroids better? I
think I do. I think I still like, and I'll, when I go and play through Fusion, I'll compare everything else. But yeah, Dread really being my first Metroid, I think just set such a high expectation for Metroid going forward. Yeah. So.
Well, I really loved Fusion.
Yeah.
It is a lot different than Dread, but it's still like, in terms of the 2D games, it's obviously the most up to date, since that's Metroid 4.
Yeah.
Like that, it wouldn't feel like that much of a downgrade going from Dread to Fusion. I think Fusion still controls excellently. Like it still controls really great. So
cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it again. I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to playing with save states and not having to play on the 3DS and worry about some of the really hard boss fights in that game.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, I watched the trailer for it, and it looks incredible, graphic wise and just gameplay wise, and all the different enemies and bosses they showed off in that trailer. So yeah, it looks good. I'll definitely I'll play it at some point. I don't know if I'm going to play it on the 9th or day 1 or whatever, but I'll definitely play it at some point. Mm-hmm. Nick, tell me about Session.
Oh yeah, so I jumped back into Session, the skateboarding sim game. It's coming out on the Switch this week. I don't know if I'm going to pick it up. I haven't really seen any gameplay.
Yeah.
They've kind of been quiet on revealing any gameplay for the Switch version, but yeah, the weather's been getting nicer. I've been getting the itch to go skateboarding again, so of course I'm gotta jump into the skateboarding sim game too.
Yeah, I've been watching your videos on TikTok.
Yeah.
The comparison videos. Who does it better?
Those are fun.
Yeah.
It's like the camera and like the video editing software in Session is really good.
Yeah.
So you can pretty much film however you want. You can film like you're an actual like filmer for a skateboarder, or you can just like film it like you're on a tripod. There's a lot of options, but yeah, I've played this like back in 2020 and a little bit in 2021, and I've been playing like Skater XL as well. So this one just feels so realistic.
Is it a new version of Session that's coming out that's hitting the Switch, or is this just Switch's version of Session?
I think it's Switch's version.
Okay.
There might be like a bigger update dropping when this game comes out.
Okay.
But to my knowledge, it's just like the same version. But they did like revamp the game either in 2022 or 2021, and like they added like missions and tutorials and all that stuff, just making it easier to play.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's a good game.
Well, before we dive into Wo Long, since we both played that, I did boot up Halo Season 3.
Oh shoot! That's
today. It dropped at 2 p.m. Eastern time today. I played about 4 or 5 matches, and God, it is good, man. Everything. The new maps that I played so far. I haven't played any of the community maps yet, like the little
Forge maps.
Yeah, the Forge maps. But the ones that I guess maybe one of them was. I'm not quite sure. I've played on like 2 different maps now. And the one map is one of my favorite maps. It's an asymmetrical map, and it's like you got corridor on one side, corridor on the other side. You've got 2 platforms in the middle, and then they connect with the bridge, and then you've got these other floating platforms that come from like the main game with like the little hexagonal like shape looking pieces. It looked like that, but they're floating. So it adds for like really great movement in the game, whether it's low or high, and and they're really pretty looking maps too. But and the new, I don't remember what it's called.
Okay.
But the new weapon too, I can't remember the name of it. It's kind of like a really strong DMR. It doesn't have a scope, but it is long range. But it's one of those. It's just like the DMR, where if you fire it more slowly, the more accurate it is. But it really packs a punch, and it's really fun to use. So really cool weapon. Really cool weapon.
So there are 3 new maps, or there's 2 arena and one
big team battle, and then there's
Oasis is the big team battle.
Yeah, and then there's like 4 or 5 like community maps too that are being added.
Cliffhanger and Chasm.
Yeah.
Are the arena maps.
Okay. It might have been Chasm or Chasm, whatever how you want to say it.
Yeah, that features floating columns.
That's the one. Yeah, it's like a bluer map. It's like blue. Yeah, super fun. I've had a great time. And like the new Shroud.
The new ability.
Yeah, the new ability. It's really cool looking. Like just looking at it, it looks awesome. But it's just kind of like a bubble shield mixed with like a smoke grenade, where neither one of you can see in and out. But the movement tracker doesn't work, so you can kind of, I don't know. Someone could be trying to walk into it, and you could jump over them, turn around, and melee him in the back, and they wouldn't even know because they can't see you. So it's really cool. Again, the effect of it looks super cool on the screen. So yeah, I'm happy with it so far. It played super well. I got into matches super quick. No stuttering. No online issues.
No rubber banding.
Yeah, no rubber banding that I saw. The intro movie is cool. I went through the battle pass, and all the unlockables are cool. So yeah. It looks to be a step in the right direction. How
much is the battle pass?
$10 or
$8
$8, 8 or 9. It's 1,000 credits, which I think comes out to be about $9. So
okay. Did you buy it?
I did. Yeah, I went ahead and got it.
I might jump into it after this.
Yeah, it's super fun. I would. They've got a playlist that I think specifically shows off like the new levels and stuff. So
sweet.
Yeah, and there's like a new Escalation Slayer where it's kind of like Gun Game from Call of Duty, where you start off with
Gun Game.
Yeah, so I haven't played that yet, but was obviously one of the best game modes in Call of Duty at the time. So I'm sure this will be just as cool. But yeah, man, I'm really happy with it so far with the 4 or 5 games that I played. It's a lot of fun.
Sick.
And yeah, I'll be playing till season 4. So
do you think Halo Infinite is on the up and up.
I think this may be the time where a lot of new people or a lot of people new and old are going to jump in. I think all the cosmetic stuff looks pretty cool. And they've already talked about how they're going to keep new content coming. So I think this is the time if you've been down on Halo or you've given up or whatever. I think just jump back in and see how it is. There's a bunch of new maps, new modes. And it's fun. It's super fun.
This makes me really excited.
Yeah, I'm excited for Halo's future. We've talked to it to death about it, how good it is, how good it plays, but it's just been missing stuff. It's been missing content, which is a shame, but it's the truth. I mean, that's what people want nowadays, and I was getting to the point where I was getting a little bit stale too with the map. So, looking forward to the future of this game.
Nice.
But Nick, let's talk about Wo Long. How are you feeling? Did you get past the first boss?
No, I've not played any more since last night. I gave one shot at the boss. I got through the first half, got to the next one, and I was like, oh shit. Okay, this is one of those really. I heard it was really hard.
Yeah.
I think I can do it because I did all right in the first half, but I'm interested. Have you gotten past the first boss yet?
I have not. I've probably died about 50 to 60 times on this fucking thing. It's, oh my god, man. I played it, and I was doing pretty good. And I don't know. I know it's a skill issue of mine. I'm not the best deflector
skill issue.
Parrying person in the world. And I think that's why Sekiro has been so hard for me. Granted, I took on like a year and a half off before I tried to go back to it. And that's just, you just can't do that with that game. But I been able to deflect pretty good. Now, when I was first going at it, I didn't realize that I could equip equipment and new weapons and armor and stuff because I don't feel like the game told me that I could. And when I went into like the battle flag, I saw like inventory or supplies or something like that, and I was like, well, maybe for whatever reason they cut that off. But then I pressed start and I scrolled over and it was like. Inventory, weapons, whatever. And so I equipped a new weapon and I equipped armor and stuff, so I wasn't getting necessarily one-shotted every time I missed a deflect. So that was good. And then I went in there and I got him to less than half health on the second phase, which is supposed to trigger the cutscene or the ability to like use your magic or something like that. But I don't know if one of my gauges maybe wasn't full. I have no idea. And then I ended up dying. And then I proceeded to try over and over again. And it after a while, because I had 10 fortitude, and that was like where it would cap at. Like I could go higher, but I would have to go backtrack and kind of grind out and then go in. But then once you die, it goes back to 10. And then I went in and I was at 10 and it jumped me up to like 22 fortitude. So I don't know if the game was telling me that I sucked and I had to, and it gave me extra fortitude. But then I still ended up losing. And then when I came back, it was like 19 fortitude, and then it went to 18, 17, 16, and then it went back to 10. And I was like, well, what is the point of this?
So what does the fortitude do?
I think it's just you do more damage when the higher the fortitude is.
Okay.
And you can sustain more damage, I believe. But my god, man, that's that one thing. Like, I love Souls games and I love difficulty games. I hate two-phase boss fights where they have two separate health bars. Like,
yeah,
I'm okay with one health bar in two different phases or three different phases, whatever the two different health bars is insane, and it's just I don't know. I don't know about this game at this point. I don't know if I want to sit here and just fight against a wall when I have other stuff to play, to be honest. And I think it was a mistake for this game to have such a hard boss. Again, get good, skill issue. I get that if people are thinking that, but how many people that maybe don't play these types of games that are playing it on Game Pass get to this boss fight and just can't beat it, and then they just give it up because they're not gonna waste their time. And there's really another grindy parts in this level, so you can't just. You can't. It's not like Elden Ring. You can't go off on a different path and and fight and get stronger and then come back. Which I get it. That's not necessarily what this game is. A little bit more linear than like Elden Ring is, and even really Dark Souls. But so far, but yeah, I'm a little frustrated with this first boss fight. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
No, I share your sentiment. Like, you think of a game like Dark Souls 3, where it starts you out in like that grave section, and then you go fight Gundyr.
Yeah.
And right off the bat, it's a very achievable boss fight because, for starters, you can get a couple of hits right on the start without him even hitting you back.
Yeah.
He only has one health bar. He has 2 phases, but it's one continuous health bar. And the first phase isn't that difficult. I feel like the first phase in Wolong's fight is still like relatively difficult. Yeah,
you can get. I mean, he hits hard and he can clear the arena like super quick. And I get it. This is a fast game. This is like a Bloodborne, Sekiro, Neo style of game where it's just a lot faster than Dark Souls is in Elden Ring. And I get that, but man, like I feel like I barely have time to actually get away, heal, and then that freaking the blind guy. He's like, "Oh, get behind me, and I'll protect you." And by the time he finishes that sentence, I'm already dead. And I was like, "What's the NPCs don't draw any sort of aggro. They barely draw any aggro, and they barely help. Like I don't really understand the point of them so far. I mean, maybe that'll change once I get past this boss fight, but yeah, just really frustrated.
I'm like scared to get back in now because I don't know. I don't know if I'm loving it to begin with because the game feels like just a little bit janky.
Yeah,
like a little bit of jank to it. That kind of reminds me of like a Dynasty Warriors, and I'm pretty sure it's the same people who worked on Dynasty Warriors.
Lubu is in this game. He's a boss fight. Lubu from yeah.
Well, there you go. It kind of, like the movement kind of feels like that. Obviously, it's very influenced by Neo as well, and of course by all the Souls games. But
yeah,
I don't know. It, like all these like Souls likes that aren't actually Souls games, they kind of feel like knockoffs.
They do. They do, and even the world itself like just doesn't feel as cool to be in. And this is the first level. This is the first area. You're like in a like a Japanese town or a Chinese town. Sorry. It's like 184 AD, so it's a long time ago. But yeah, it just, and that's just, I think that's just the incredibleness about Miyazaki and his team is they just do such a good job of world building.
Yeah.
But also I really like this game. Like I like the combat, like I like the pairing system, but they have such a freaking hard boss. Like at the very beginning like this is just so off-putting to me. And I know a lot of these bosses aren't this hard. Or even have 2 phases and stuff like that, but it's infuriating. I mean, to die 60 times on this guy and not understand why sometimes it'll give me plus 10 fortitude and then sometimes it won't. I don't know.
Unclear. Yeah. I don't know how much more time I'm gonna give this game. I'll play a little bit more. I'll obviously like put my best foot forward on this boss. But
yeah.
I'm not gonna waste my time.
Yeah.
Like I don't know with games like this. Like I don't know if I want to bash my head against the wall. I kind of want to save that for Souls games and
exactly
for other games. But I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, and like the only other weapon I got was the only stronger weapon I got than the initial sword that you get is like a pole arm, and it's about 30% stronger, but it's so slow, and this enemy is so fast that you just don't have time to
also
wind up attacks.
How do you switch equipped weapons? Because you have 2 slots.
If you press R, if you hold R and then up on the D-pad, it'll switch it because there's 2. Okay. Yeah, there's 2 different slots.
Okay.
But I mean, I like everything. Like I like the combat art. I like, I got like a lightning ability, which I mean, it doesn't really help in this boss fight because it's so fast. But I like what I've played so far, and that's what's frustrating too. Is I want to see something else. But again, like you said, I'm just not I don't have time to sit here and die another 40 times to this boss. So we'll see. I don't know. I may put it off for a while. Maybe they'll nerf it and I can actually play it. Maybe maybe that's in a week or two they look at the statistics and they're like, all right, how many people play this game? How many people fell off after this first boss? And maybe that says something. Again, like you said with Dark Souls, like I feel like that those first bosses are always they're either going to kill you, like in Elden Ring, and they're going to kill you regardless, and you have to die, or they're hard, but very doable. In this case, I just see the light. Yeah, in this case, I just, especially with the second phase, like it just, it's not fun, so far. But
have you played any more Atomic Heart?
I have not since the original time I played it. Have you played any more?
I played a bit more, but I think I'm done.
Yeah, there's too much.
I just really hate that protagonist so much. He's such an asshole. I can't get past it.
Yeah.
I got to like I think I got close to the end of the first like big dungeon. I don't know how far you got, but I don't even know how to explain. I got like another ability.
Yeah. I think I might. Yeah, I can't remember exactly where I stopped. I know I had to go pick up those parts or something like
the 3 parts, something like that.
Yeah, and I think I got another ability based off of that, but I think I stopped shortly after that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's okay.
I feel like I'm kind of down on games like Atomic Heart, games like Wolong.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I'm in a bit of a lull, but
yeah,
I want the games that I don't have right now, and that's Zelda and Resident Evil 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here's what it is.
I mean, I feel that it's like time is limited, with working and doing stuff around the house and stuff like that, and when you're playing a game that is mediocre at best, or maybe there's just something about it that you're just not digging, like it's. It's fine.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Continuing.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, I think I might be done with Atomic Heart. I don't know. I just didn't. I enjoyed a little bit of what I played, but I mean, I don't think the antagonist or the protagonist bothered me as much as it did you. But I don't know. It just didn't do anything special, I guess, from what I've seen so far.
Felt like a BioShock clone.
Yeah, exactly.
That isn't nearly as good.
Yeah, and Wolong, I really like the combat so far, but man, this boss is just obnoxious.
In the way,
yeah. Not in the way like an Elden Ring boss does. Again, it's 2 different styles of games, but I never felt like necessarily cheated in Elden Ring. I just feel like, okay, let me just go back and I'll come back later. But again, this is not. I don't know if this game opens up like that. At all, I think it's more of like a linear based thing, like Dark Souls and is even linear than Dark Souls from what I've seen. So I don't know. You want to dive into the news this week?
Yeah,
sweet.
Yeah, it's not much.
This
week. Capcom is doing like a spotlight direct type presentation on March 9th.
Yep.
That's going to cover Resident Evil. Is it Exo Gun? Exo something? Exo Primal?
Exo Primal, yeah, that's the one.
Yeah. Let me see what other games are going to be there. It might be Street Fighter. Oh, Ghost Trick. Ghost Trick is going to be there. Exo Primal. Resident Evil
cool.
4.
Ghost Trick. Maybe they'll shadow drop Ghost Trick. There you go.
You think so?
Maybe.
Didn't they say like?
That was announced at the Direct.
Yeah.
That could be a great shadow drop, I think.
Would you pick that up day one?
I think so, yeah. That game was, I mean, I can't imagine it being more than $20, $30. But that game is really cool. Yeah, maybe that. I'm sure they'll give us a date for the demo since the game comes out so soon. We'll get that. Yeah, I'm looking. I don't really need to see any more Resident Evil 4 from what the trailer that we got from The state of play was fantastic.
It's crisp. And have you seen like the additional gameplay that's been circulating around?
I have not. No.
Oh man, you gotta check it out.
I was gonna say I do kind of
B-roll.
Okay, gotcha. I was gonna say I do kind of want to just see like maybe an extended gameplay, like 5 or 6 minutes of just straight gameplay.
That's exactly what this is.
Oh, that's exactly what it is. Okay, gotcha.
I mean,
okay.
it cuts to different areas, but
Okay.
But yeah, it's really good. It'll get you hyped up.
Yeah, sweet. Okay. Any other games going to be shown?
Monster Hunter Rise, Sunbreak, and Mega Man Battle Network Legacy Collection. So those are all going to be shown off. No word on Street Fighter.
Okay, so probably not going to be there then.
Yep.
Dragon Ball Budakai Tenkaichi 4, or maybe 4. They haven't done a 4 yet, but a new Budakai Tenkaichi game. This was kind of the pre like Xenoverse style of games, pre Kakarot, where it's that kind of that third person fighting arena game where they jump from 2D to 3D. I never was really into the Tenkaichi series like I am with like Xenoverse, but again, it's kind of like what came before.
We played a lot of Budokai.
We played a lot of Budokai, but Budokai was 2D. That was a traditional like Dragon Ball FighterZ style of game, and I loved those. But Tenkaichi, I think I played a little bit of, but I don't really have the nostalgia for it. But that being said, it looks cool. This came over the weekend for a Dragon Ball event they had, and they announced that no dates, no really gameplay. I'm sure we'll get some details soon, but and then they also announced I didn't put it on the list here, but they announced the oh shoot, what is it called? Oh no, I had it saved. The netcode, what is it called?
Netcode rollback?
Netcode rollback, yeah. They announced that last year at EVO for fighters, which is like the best, I guess, netcode they can possibly have for very minimal to no lag at all, which everybody's excited for. They're having a beta for it soon, and it's supposed to launch. Maybe the beta's coming in summer, but so I think it's still supposed to launch this year. So my theory is why spend all the money for doing netcode rollback for a 6-year-old game at this point? I think a little bit closer to the rollback, we're going to get more fighters. I think they're going to do a new season, and we'll get
Fighters 2.
I don't think Fighters 2. I think we'll get. I mean, I don't think we'll get like a story expansion, but I think we'll get a new season, more characters. I mean, they have so many other characters they can pull from Super and other games to pull from. So I think we'll get another season. I think we'll get a season 4. That would be awesome. I still play this game to this day. I love it so much. So super excited if they do something like that. I think a lot of people were expecting an announcement for Fighters, but they ended up not. And also the difference with Tenkaichi is they also had a lot of characters that all the other Dragon Ball games don't have. Like they had like weird fusions that didn't happen in the show.
That's cool.
And some other characters that just haven't been in any sort of other Dragon Ball fighting games. So it is quite different than the other stuff. But so yeah, looking forward to that. And then Nick, you want to read the last story that we've got?
Yeah, probably the biggest one here. But
yeah,
Elden Ring is getting a little DLC called Shadow of the Erd Tree. And all we got was one post, one picture at like 4 a.m.
Yeah, weird.
And yeah, just a picture kind of showing what looks like the Erd Tree in its previous form. It looks like a younger Erd Tree, and then it shows someone on horseback, someone on what's oh my god, what's your horse's name?
Oh my gosh, I just read the article too. Baron. Torrent. Yeah. But yeah, we absolutely no details we're giving about this DLC. We don't know when it's coming. I'm assuming this year, hopefully this summer, I feel like would be a good landing spot for it.
I don't know. I think it'll be later in the year.
You think it'll be like fall?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm okay with that. Like, just get it as past Zelda as possible. But yeah, hopefully it's a really big expansion. New areas, whatever. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm excited.
I don't even know what I don't know what to expect. Some people are saying it's Michaela,
Yeah, I did see that too.
the sister, or no, the brother of
Melania.
Melania.
Yeah.
Would that be cool? I mean, obviously you wouldn't play as Michaela. You probably play as your own character, but
Yeah.
to be able to fight him would be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, the DLCs for Souls games are always so interesting. They're always like way more difficult than the actual game.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of scary to think about.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll ramp up the difficulty for this thing for sure.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, Elden Ring had some pretty hard bosses too. And Millennia. I don't know if I would call Radon hard. He was just kind of annoying. He just was big and just had a lot of. I don't know. He could just reach really hard.
Yeah, had a lot of reach, had a lot of speed.
Yeah, and then like the lead up to him was like annoying too, where he was just shooting his bow that could like sometimes one shot you if you didn't have enough stamina or health or whatever. So
Take me back to a year ago.
I know. I was kind of hoping they would do something for its anniversary, but
I know,
well.
it's kind of a, like
It's a long time for some DLC.
Yeah, and just for some art, for some key art of said DLC, like no trailers, no release date, no release window, or anything.
Yeah, I mean, they said, at the Game Awards, they said DLC was coming, but hopefully they started on this a while ago and not recently, because it'd be kind of crazy for us to get it 2 years after the game release. That's kind of insane, but this game's huge, man. It's sold over 20 million copies, so...
It doesn't need DLC.
No, it doesn't.
I think
but
it's at like 20 million, right?
Yeah, I think it's over 20 now. Yeah, it certainly doesn't need it. I mean, that game was massive, but I would love to go back to it.
Oh yeah.
And play a new area or something like that. Again, like you said, the DLCs are always harder than the main game, so that's definitely terrifying, of course. But we'll see.
Regardless, it'd be amazing.
Of course. All right, well, I think that's going to wrap up the show, everyone. My voice is starting to go out.
It sounds like it's dying.
Yeah. So we appreciate everyone that's been listening and watching, of course. Nick, where can they follow us on our social stuff?
If you want to follow us on Twitter, that is at GamingWTBros. If you want to follow us over on Instagram or TikTok, at GamingWithTheBrosCast. If you want to send us any emails, you can email us any questions at GamingWithTheBros@yahoo.com.
Yeah, we just hit 500 followers over on TikTok not too long ago, so that was awesome. So, I don't know, if we ever hit 1,000, well, maybe we'll go live on TikTok and stream the show there too.
Yeah.
But all right, guys, well, we'll see y'all next week with I don't know, more Halo impressions, maybe more Wolong. We'll see. Maybe Metroid Fusion, maybe Resident Evil 4 demo. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on. We'll see.
The possibilities are endless.
They're very endless. All right, guys, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.